The reason you are stuck in a job and you feel like you don't have any independence is really because you're lacking financial IQ, financial intelligence. A lot of people are stuck in this place where they feel as though they're trapped in their job, they're really dependent on it, and that's because they don't have any sort of recurring income and they really have to trade their hours for dollars. And there really is no escape. Where the alternative is if you're able to make strong investments and you're able to actually save your money and have that net, you're going to feel more confident to go out there and try new things. And when you build a different business, maybe you want to do consulting on the side, you're going to be able to really strongly invest in that. So, hi, my name's Adrian Monax. What I do is sales. I do a lot of different consulting for different businesses. But the idea is at 35, I've really built a strong financial foundation. And I have 100% confidence that if I lost my job today, I can go out there and get another one. If I was unemployable, I could easily go out there and just make money for me and my family. And I really want to help other people do that. So, really, what I want to talk about today is this idea of financial intelligence, financial IQ. People really need to understand how to manage their money because I'm just going to guess, they say more than 50% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their bank account. I remember when I was selling consulting and freelancing services to other software developers, teaching them how to do that, they were unable to get a job, and so they were trapped at where they were. And so my goal here is really to take the knowledge that I have and share it with people that have traditional careers and really show them that they're able to have this independence, especially in a world where the economy isn't where we like it. So right now I want to talk about a few ideas. I'm not saying these are mine. Robert Kiyosaki coined all of these, and I'm just going to be sharing the lessons I learned and maybe putting them in a simpler context. And you're not going to have to go read the book, right? So the idea is that you're always going to have problems, and money is going to be a part of this. You're going to have money problems. And so the thing is poor people don't have any money. That's a money problem. But the trade-off there is they don't really have to understand how money works, or they don't have to understand how to protect it. The middle class are making money, doctors, lawyers, they're doing well, but now they have to understand how do they protect their cash. Same thing with wealthy people. Well, they're wealthy because they have strong investments, and how do they protect those investments and actually make sure that they're not getting taxed massive amounts from that wealth that they have. And so really the idea is that you need to develop financial intelligence. You need to really develop your skills, and you really need to understand that currency and the amount of money you're making should only be held temporarily in your bank account. As somebody who's independently employed or somebody that's making their own money without the dependence of a company, you are going to have inconsistent income. It's going to come in massive waves, and there's lots of ways where you can secure the amount of money you're making. But the main idea here is that no matter what happens, you're going to be able to generate dollars, and you're not going to be dependent on any one source. And that really comes with this idea of understanding that your money should only be used to exchange for assets. So everyone's kind of familiar with what a financial statement looks like and a balance sheet. And we want to make sure that we're balancing these sheets accordingly. And so where most people come in here and will spend every dollar they make in order to look good. I mean, I am guilty of this. Over the past 3 to 4 months, I've gone from making no money. I literally had failed a number of businesses in a row. I was broke. Now I'm making $30,000 to $40,000 a month. And over the next year, I'm planning on investing in a 30 unit apartment complex, okay, which is going to generate me $50,000 a month passively. We're already doing the research there, and we're already getting some candidates toward where most people come in here and they'll have their income, their expenses, their liabilities, and their assets. Income goes right to liabilities, goes right to expenses, and that money is gone. Where if we want to look at the other side of this, we want to make sure that good money creates more good money. So we're going to draw this again. I'm going to be a little less detailed. I hope you guys can understand how things work without boxes. We want to make sure that every dollar you're making is being used to generate more. And what this does is when you actually have a lot of independence in your income and you have a strong financial foundation, you have power in the marketplace. The reason people are so taken advantage, the reason people are stuck at the same pay as expenses have gone up every year, okay? Look at the past chart for the for the past 20 years maybe. Wages have stayed stagnant and expenses have gone up linearly. The reason that is because people don't have any control over their own circumstances, so they're just going to take anything. Where what a wealthy person is going to do, they're going to have income. The income goes into assets. The assets generate more income. And it's just a self-perpetuating cycle. And what these assets do then helps with the expenses, then helps with the liabilities, okay? So really the foundation of all of this is that if you're going to go and put money into a retirement plan, that's not an asset, okay? It may be, but the main idea is that you don't have control over it, and I think that really is the main point. The money and the things that your money buy, you need to have explicit control over, because think about your car. When you lease your car, technically you don't own it. And the end result of that is that the money you're making on your car, the value of that car drops drastically. And so you really want to choose your problems. Life is always going to be hard. Life is going to suck. So why not choose problems that improve your life? I would much rather have the challenge that I'm having to stay up overnight to sell to businesses over in Singapore, but become great at what I do and make money that makes me proud of myself, than have the challenge of settling for something here and being miserable that way. Okay? So you want to look for problems. You want to look for problems. You want to actually, instead of sitting at night and bitching about how your job isn't really what you want it to be, you want to sit at night and you want to be frustrated because that new business you're working on is difficult. Okay? Because many people fail to be rich because they value a steady paycheck more than they value the difficult process of improving themselves. Okay? If you really want me to simplify this down, you can either have the challenge of being a fat person and being made fun of, or you can have the challenge of feeling good about yourself, but you have to show up to the gym every day. And so you really need to choose this. And this is kind of part of that mercenary mindset, this independent contractor mindset, where you're able to go out there and make things happen for yourself. And the hardest part, I think, is really controlling your emotions in this entire process, because your focus really needs to be increasing your cash flow from business assets and commodities. Notice how I didn't say stocks and bonds in there. Notice how I didn't say increasing contributions into your 401k. Okay, I'm out here learning how to actually manage my money and invest what I'm making in a way that's powerful. I'm here in this place that doesn't look so nice or impressive because every single dollar that I have, 95%, is going to go into commercial real estate. It's going to go into stuff that I can actually know is going to generate me a cash flow. Because remember this, your assets is going to be everything for you. And so instead of looking at things and saying, ooh, I want that, instead what you need to be saying is, what investments can I make? What assets can I buy, take ownership of, in order to buy those luxury items? I mean, Robert Kiyosaki has the great story, okay? He wanted a Bentley. He said I needed to make, $200,000 return from my investments in order to afford that Bentley, instead of just going out there and buying one. I know right now I want to look good on my video calls for clients. I say, let's go buy a watch. Let's go spend an extra $3,000, $5,000 to make that happen. Instead, what I need to be doing is saying, actually, that $3,000 can actually save me 1 week in terms of the amount of money I'm saving. Okay, obviously not 1 week, I'm making more than that, but a couple of days. Okay, and that's really going to set me up to leverage debt, and good debt, in order to get me the things that I want to massively increase my next worth. Okay, but in order to get there, I need to master points 2 and 3 in terms of my financial IQ, which is going to be budgeting my money, and education. Okay. It's not enough to be independent and just say, listen, I do a great job. I mean, doctors fall into this trap. They say, I mastered this one vertical, medicine, but now they're not really making as much as they'd like because they don't know how to get people to their practice. Now they're making that money, but they don't know where it goes. So it goes into liabilities like their home. Okay. And so rather than watching the price of a stock or a mutual fund go up and down the market, you actually want to have control over everything that you're doing, and you want to educate yourself in order to have more control. Because the thing is I would rather buy a property and collect rent and other income over a long period of time, so that way I can actually have cash flow. Cash flow. Because Warren Buffett says diversification, think about a Roth 401k, that's diversified investment. That is for the ignorant. Experts go all in on one thing. And what rich people say is they say ignorance is when you're protecting yourself against your ignorance. Okay? You should know that you don't know things and educate yourself actively. But you really want to be in this place where you're investing for cash flow, because that's a lot less risky. Because if things go down, listen, at least you're making money on the back end for all of this stuff. Okay, so this is me just kind of getting started. This is a new channel. I think I'm excited for it. I think we can do a lot of stuff educating working professionals on how they can, what I call, develop a mercenary mindset. Go out there, be hunters, and make their own money, even while they're working full time. So that way you have additional resiliency in your career. So I hope this was valuable. Talk soon.